Yeah, man. So, yeah, we're live now.
All right, we're
Nicky
live.
Stix.
What's
First,
going on?
cause I don't want to butcher your last name. Is it Sinkata?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yo,
like,
honestly,
how did
that was
you get?
fire
Oh, what was that?
because that was good. Most people mess that up. It's like
Gotcha.
Sonata, Chincata, whatever. It's just you got it. So,
All right, bet.
but
Yeah, that's crazy. I usually don't get those right,
yeah,
but yeah. So, how did you like get your producer name? Is that a middle name or like an idea you
no.
had?
So it's actually funny. So, um, everyone refers to me like Nicky is like the first part, and then there's a million like growing up. There's a million last like pieces to that name. Like Nicky this, Nicky that, Nicky. There's just like there's a million. So like I just referred to like all of them. And then recently, within the last like 2 years, like groups of friends just started calling me Stix, like Nicky Stix. Like it was just like this thing, and it just stuck. And then like I just referred it, just I respond to it, and it just became like a thing. And I was like, yo, I fuck with it. It's kind of fire. I was like, I like it. And then when I really started taking beats seriously, I was just like, yo, I'm just gonna go with this. And like everyone was just like, word, because it just like flowed, and like people were already calling me that, and I'm just like, all right, cool. Change my Instagram, and then just went with it.
Got you.
Yeah.
So, all right, got you. So that's how you like rebranded to that. And I just want to address the elephant in the room because I know like a lot of non-industry producers haven't built up their Instagrams as big as yours. So you have over 35,000 followers on Instagram, over 11,000 on Twitter. So like a lot of people would be curious as to how you built your following up like that. Can you give us some more information on that?
Definitely, absolutely. So actually back in the day, I used to be an artist. I don't know if you went far back on my Instagram, but so like really far back in the day, I used to be that's how I started out in music, was like I was a singer, songwriter, and I have albums on Spotify under my other name, Nick Sincata, like from back in the day. So I definitely like have some of that audience that has carried over. But recently within this last year, I've just been experimenting with so much different types of marketing to like build up my Instagram and build up my following, because I understand like how important it is just to like have the eyes on you and have the following. Everything I've done so far, I'll go over like different types of marketing that I've done. I wouldn't say that any of it has been like super effective, and I haven't like cracked the code for like having like a super engaged following. Um, but so first off, I mean, I've ran a lot of Facebook ads in the last like year, so that drives traffic naturally. Like people are just like I'll refresh like every hour, and I'll get new followers from like Facebook ads. Um, and also, I actually how we met. I did some like bogus kind of marketing, which was like pretty annoying. Like that spam message. That's actually how we connected. I
Right.
tried one of those. I ended up getting like thousands of followers off that. Actually a lot of artists. So like that was cool. And then also like I've done different types of Instagram contests where like my handle is like in certain contests with like giveaways and stuff, just to like grow just the following. So like it hasn't really been super targeted on artists. And I'll be like very transparent about like the number of followers. Like it's not exactly like all converting, and it's not exactly like super super organic. Like people might hate on that, but like I've always just been experimental and just wanted to try. So like the following has grown, but um I definitely also another thing, I mean, you and I both do the same thing where we like reach out to artists and like DM them and stuff. And that also has added to that a lot. Like definitely thousands, like solid chunk of that. So
Got you.
yeah.
And then for those who don't know, because I know a lot of producers don't run ads whatsoever. Like when you say you ran Facebook ads, are you talking about like running it through Facebook Business Manager and then running it like on other platforms or to specific different ones or just on Facebook?
Yeah, so actually, I used to just like go and press like promote on Instagram, and like I realized like that wasn't like really good targeting at all. So then I got really introduced to Facebook ads, business manager, like you had mentioned, and that's actually that's something that's so great to use. Like I think everyone should at least be spending like $5 a day on Facebook ads. Like there's no sense in not like reaching out in that sense. Like have an ad of your beats, or like it's you talking, like just putting yourself out there. I also have a pixel that I'm continuously juicing and running traffic to, so that way like in the future, if I want to like really deploy some cash into some serious ads, I have a nice pixel that's ready with a profile that's ready to like target people or artists that are interested in my beats or my music or whatever it might be. Like for example, do you have a pixel like on BeatStars? Because like there's a section where you can just like put it in. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if I ever put the pixel in there. That is something that I need to get back into because I had one of like my managers running ads for me on
Mm.
Facebook at one time, and so they were like working through all the pixel stuff just because like I wasn't really savvy about it. Um, I think I had it on my website. I want to say.
Yeah. Um, so all right, right. Here's some sauce. Like the where you put the like on BeatStars, you can put the Facebook pixel in there. And then when you run BeatStars ads, like people are coming to the page and like it's just like building a profile. So like any sort of traffic that hits the pixel, it starts to just like gather information like, okay, like this person that also likes this type of music and this type of music is also interested in your page. So like I would say like have the pixel in any place that you can, and any traffic that hits it, it just like gets data points. It's like, okay, this many people added these many beats to the cart. These many people checked out. These people took these beats out of the cart. Like it gives you each like little data point. So it's like very, very important. I haven't ran an ad where I like do a duplicate lookalike audience just yet because I don't think I have enough juice in the pixel. But like over time, like it's just gonna keep building, and as I drive more traffic, it'll get better and better. So um, I would say if producers don't have a pixel in their beat stars, like literally just make one, do it immediately. Like it can't hurt. Um, I'd say it's essential. Yeah.
Got you. So basically, by putting in your beat stars, like anyone that comes across your beats, it's just going to develop that profile. So when you go to run ads, it'll find that target audience.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So it's a great tool, I would say.
Okay, that's dope. That's
Mhm.
dope. That's something that I didn't even think about for sure. So like, I want to ask you this question because I'm not sure. Do you have a clothing brand?
Yes. So actually the brand that I have is Collected Gems. That's what I go by. That's like my whole like structure of a brand. Like my email is Collected Gems. I have hoodies, I have things like that. I only make so many every once in a while. So I'll make like a group and then like give them free to certain people. And it's really not like a brand that's up and running in terms of like there's a storefront and there's like a page to post. Like there is a page where like I don't tend to it enough. Really, what my main focus is right now is the beats, but eventually, like I want to have like Collected Gems just be like this big brand, like merch, like and people buying merch and stuff, and really like anyone who's inspired by me and like my hustle and like what I do, like the whole idea behind Collected Gems itself um is like anything that you care about in life, anything that you find to be important, or like it could be a person, it could be a relationship, um it could be like uh, I don't know, honestly, anything that you find to be like very important. It's like, okay, like that's a gem. Like um the whole idea is to just like gather those things. That's what makes you happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's constantly collecting. And I would say that that is something that I constantly do too. I love information. I'm always collecting gems. Like that's what it is. And like it allows me to get on the phone with lots of people and just like give gems and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like it's a very cool thing that like I go by.
That's dope. Yeah, I think that that's something that a lot of people take for granted. Is there's so much free information out there on YouTube or Instagram, and they go and take that free game and then act like it's something sacred that they can't give to other people and kind of
Mm.
pass it forward. So I definitely respect that. That's something I definitely believe in too. Um, and then one of my other questions or was because I did go back and see that you actually got into the game as an artist. So the Dan Bilzerian thing. And I was gonna say for those who don't know, he's a multi-millionaire professional gambler. But you had a song that he played on his Snapchat. So like, can you explain how all that went down?
Yes. So this is when I was an artist, a recording artist, and me and my homie Raptor, we have this song. It's just Dan B. That's what we refer to it as. And it was just this idea. Shout out to homie Android Beats who produced that. And Knowledge, like those guys, like they put that all together. Um, and it was just one day in the studio, and I was just in the booth, and then just started just laying down this hook where it's just like it was like this crazy hook, and everyone in the studio was like, "Oh shit, this is fire!" And then we released it, and I don't know how he ended up hearing it. Um, I'm not sure. I actually have no idea, but he ended up just like posting it on a story, and he's like, "Yo, they're rapping about me." He was like on a plane or something, and I was like, what the? Someone sent it to me. They're like, yo, he's playing your song right now. So I was just like, I screenshot it and I was like, it's crazy. Um, but who knows
Yeah.
if that'll develop into a future connection? I don't know. I never met the guy, so maybe one day.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, that's crazy. I'm sure that was a crazy feeling
Yeah.
when you heard about that. And then the other thing I saw, because I was scrolling down, you actually opened for Fetty Wap. Uh, that's insane. So like, I'm sure like
Interesting.
being a recording artist at that time, that was like probably a
It
dream
was like,
come true.
yeah, it's just so funny. Like I didn't think questions about like me, like my artist days were gonna come up. This might be a thing. I don't know. Like I might have to get used to answering questions about those days. But yeah. So it was actually it was at a college. There was like 3,000 people in the concert. I mean, in the stands, and it was an awesome night. Like it was just incredible. The energy of the fans were insane. You know, obviously they were there to see Fetty, but I got to open, so that was cool. Um and I think that came about because like you know just like really hustling and you know I had people on my team that were always hustling for me too and just like reaching out to people, and I had a friend who knew somebody who was able to put my music in front of somebody who made a decision to be like, okay, yes, like we like this guy, like um let's have him open, you know. So shout out to my friend Andrew Scola. You know, he helped me out with that. We ended up getting a concert, and that was epic. It was super fun. This is also when Fetty Wap had his hit like he had like 4 or 5 like number ones or whatever his hits, like you know like
Yeah, like
they were
My
just like,
Way and
yes,
yeah,
constant
679.
rotation. There was like constant rotation, so it was like Fetty's like, you know, his reign time, you know what I'm saying? So it was fun.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure you know that you're caught off guard by me like asking questions about that, but like I promise it ties in. you know,
it's all good, all good.
because I was gonna ask you like, do you feel like that's kind of a chapter that's closed, or because I know me personally, I'm not a recording artist, but I have auto tune on my laptop, and like whenever I like cook up a beat and I'm like, oh, this is fire, like, and I might record a hook on it, just like messing around, seeing if I can make it sound good and stuff. So like, is that still something you continue to do?
um Actually, so no, that chapter is completely closed. So I stopped. You know, so I took music very seriously from age like 13 to 21 and a half or like 22. I forget exactly like when I stopped being an artist. Um, and it was just like a cold turkey. Like I was like, all right, all I know at that point was just music industry. Like I don't know anything else. I don't know any other industries, jobs. Like I really don't. So I actually like, you know, I'm not too afraid to admit, but like, dude, it got hard and I quit. I actually did. Like I was like, okay, I'm throwing the towel. Like, you know, obviously like at the time it was probably the most difficult decision I had to make because I had to walk away from it. It was my entire identity. It's all I knew. It was like music and recording, and um, it was actually a great decision because after that I got to try all different types of things. I've worked like 5 or 6 different types of jobs and different like whether it was sales or this type of thing or this type of thing, and I just gathered all this information from like other types, other walks of the world, and it was like really cool. um then I hit a point where I'm like, okay, I've hated everything else I've done. What am I doing? I'm going back to music. Like that was it. So then like earlier this year I really started taking this seriously, and like really started making beats, and like I just got drawn back to the music. And like I think that being the artist was like a great experiment, but like I almost feel like no, like I'm a producer. Like this is what it is. Like so I've decided that like this is like my thing that I'm going to put my 10, 20, 30, 40 years into and like try to be one of the greatest of all time, and like if not, die trying. And like that's it, you know. So the artist days are
Yeah,
done.
got you,
Yeah.
got you. No, that's like a pivoting point, you know. And I guess that leads into the next question. Like, okay, you said you did some various different jobs. One of them you mentioned was sales.
Mm.
How how does that translate into production and monetizing your work?
Sure, that's actually a great question. You know, so every every producer has there's like so many different ways in this whole game that you can monetize your stuff. Like you could be a loop maker, you could run click funnels, you could just sell directly to customer like I do. So it depends, or do YouTube and like leasing, and then you know there's a million ways. Like first of all, I just want to say like I respect every kind of hustle in this game. Like it really is. People are like, oh, like you do this or you do that. This is whack. This is whack. It's just like, yo, everybody's got their own sauce. Like, just it's like let everyone do their thing. I don't know. And so, with that being said, what I decided to do was take what I knew and leverage that for like what I'm doing right now. So I knew that my beats were getting better. I just needed to get them in front of people. So I did work a job in sales. Shout out my old boss, Shane Constantine. He taught me sales. I really appreciate like everything he taught me. It was actually selling cars, like literally I was selling cars. Like I hated the job, but I learned a little bit about sales. So just like through that, I was able to translate that um, into just like simple, just like outreach, just customer like relationships. That's really all it is, like sales. Like, um, the number one thing I would say is at the dealership, all they told us to do was make sure they get behind the car. Just get them behind the wheel. And when they get behind the wheel, they fall in love with it. So I took that same concept with the beats. It's like oftentimes like we try to get lots of artists to hear our beats. They like forget, they don't even remember we talked to them. It's like life goes on quick, so like follow up is essential. Like you just got to get them to put the headphones on and listen to the beats. If your shit's dope, like that's a standard. Everyone's got to have fire beats. That's the first thing, but just get them to listen. um and because like people will be like, oh my god, I need this, or like this is fire, what's the deal with this? Like, is this exclusive? Is this or is this that? So, my main goal is to just get people to hear them. That's like really what I try to do.
Got you, and that's something that is very difficult, especially when you're like direct messaging people and things like that. You mentioned reaching out to artists, and I think it's a sensitive topic in like invasion of privacy and stuff. I know like I've messed up so many times with
Hmm.
DMing artists and like plugging the sale and sending the link first and things like that. So like what is like can you give one gem on that, and like when it's too early to plug a sale or like send a
Yeah,
link?
for sure. I mean, this is essential, like in the process. Um, and also like I was debating about like really like getting into this type of stuff because like one thing like um it's not as like people hear the word sales, it's like people freak out. It's like, oh, like you're a piece of shit, like you're just trying to like sell people shit. It's like, no. Okay, like one thing I like before I get into this process, like I do want to just say that anyone that has purchased beats from me and like is a customer and likes my music and beats enough and has enough respect for my time to buy a license and buy exclusives and this that, I mean, like I can't even begin to explain like how appreciative I am of every single person that's done business with me, because like y'all are allowing me to make better beats and reinvest in my craft. So I just want to say thank you to everybody I've done business with. Like just like absolutely. Um so the first thing I would say is, I think we both have heard this before, but like, you know, I'm not reaching out to people that I don't really like their music. Like if like what I do is I'll sit on Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, and like I'll find some of their stuff and I'll be like, even if they're not like gas, like I understand, I was an artist and my music sucked. The first album I put out was awful, but I can hear, I'm like, okay, like with some development, like they could be fire in 2, 3 years. So like, I like make sure that like I hear their music, I like hear their stuff. And then like I'll reach out. I'll just say, "Yo, what's good? How's it going? I just heard this song on this platform." Be very specific, like because like what we're trying to do here is build customer relationships. Like we're trying to build relationships with artists. Like you're not just like, "Yo, what's good? Like check out my beats." Like obviously, so it's like, "Yo, I heard this song here." Um, and I don't even talk about the beats at all. Like they just see that I'm a producer on my page, so like that works. But generally, what I like to do is ask a question, because like people got to have incentive to respond to you. People are just like scrolling, like, oh, whatever. It's just someone like that likes my music. Like sometimes people can be narcissistic and be like, of course they like my music. You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, I'm the greatest of all time. Like so, like you got to incentivize them to hit you back. So what I do is I ask a question. I'll be like, yo, when's your next release coming out? So like everyone wants to tell you that, you know what I mean? People are going to be like, yo, I'm dropping next month, I'm dropping next year, August, this, that, whenever. So I always ask a question. It usually starts the ball rolling. I'm gonna be like, okay, word, like that's what's up. Um, and I don't, even then, I still don't even drop anything about like checking out beats or whatever. Um, then after a little bit of chit chat, I'll just be like, word. So I'm a producer. I actually have this pack that I finished. I'd be down to send it and see if you want to check them out. Can I send it back to your email? I was asking, like, can I send beats to your email? Because like the worst thing is like getting an email from somebody and they're just like, oh my god, like I don't want this. So I'm like, can I? And they're like, sure. most of the time, and through that whole process, I never get people that are like pissed about that. Like no one's really too upset about having a conversation with someone else in the industry about like their music or whatever. So it's like very like nonchalant and chill. Um, and then one thing I learned from Russell Brunson. Do you know who Russell Brunson is?
He made ClickFunnels, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He has a lot of phenomenal books. The first thing, like he has this concept called like a squeeze page, where it's like someone goes to the first page and the first thing that all they can do, their call to action is just type in their email. So it's like get their email. I do that in conversational marketing. So it's more like I'll talk to somebody and then like the first thing I'll do is like at least just get their email. I'll be like, yo, can I send beats to your email? Cool. So I have their email. So oftentimes what I see is that people don't come right back around and buy a beat for I think I told you this in the DMs, like an average 3 months it takes. I'll always check back. I'm like, okay, someone bought a beat today. When did I first talk to them? It was like 3 months ago. I'm like, wow, amazing. And that happens because I hit them with the email again. Like I'll drop 6 beats and be like, yo, what's going on? How's it going? I just uploaded these. Like, let me know if you like these. And they'll be like, oh, bro, I didn't even check out the first pack. So it's like, you know what I mean? Most of the time they don't even see. So that's like that part of the process. I'll get their email. Then what I do is I'll immediately, as soon as I see they send their email, I'll take that and send the email with the beats. And then also immediately hit them back in the DMs simultaneously, be like, yo, I just sent to your email. But also, if it's easier for you to listen here are the beats. So it's like they got 2 spots now, like bang, bang, like right away. So I think that it's a matter of like getting in, like just like in the sea of beats, being in front of them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is a lot of information right there. I can definitely attest that all of that works because I've tried like 90% of those things. That's a huge part of it is that most people receive like I don't know 50 emails a day from so many different people. So like going back in their DMs and sending them that message to remind them, and then the link there to check out on other platforms has definitely helped me a lot too. So
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, one thing I'm about to try and test, I haven't done this yet, so like I'll get back to you and let you know if it works. There's a section on the Facebook Ads Manager where you can run ads that's retargeting people that have interacted with your Instagram within the last 30 days. So like I said, people forget. They don't even know us. Like we've talked to them once. Like I wouldn't expect them to even check out the beats. So like by retargeting with maybe an ad and it's just like might pop up on their page or just like swipe up, check out these new beats or whatever. Like they might be like, oh, this is the dude I talked to, just to like, just refresh. I'm going to try that. I don't know if that will work, but we shall see. A lot of experimental. I'm trying to crack this code, dude. Like I don't know it. I don't get it yet. It's working a little bit, but I know like everyone's trying to figure out like what's the sauce, so.
for sure, for sure. And I think that it's dangerous once somebody says like, "Oh, I figured out how everything works." I feel like that's when their career is like on a downslide because they already know everything, so they're not open to learn. And so like that's what I see is like you seem driven to like find more knowledge constantly and figure out like what's the best way of doing things, even though what you're doing is actually already working. Um,
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, like I've definitely seen I mean, I'm surprised. Like, I did not think that I would be on an interview talking about selling beats within, it's like 7 months since I really started actually like making the beats like consistently, and then probably like since April I actually started like trying to sell the beats. So like that's like I guess what I'm seeing is that's a decently quick window. So far, I mean, in revenue, I've done over 5 figures. Last month was my best month. It was like a little less than 4 grand. So, obviously in the grand scheme of things, like we want to do much more. We want to do 50 grand a month. Like that's, you know what I mean? So like, I would say that so far, like me being a sponge and just trying to just learn and learn and learn and asking questions and reaching out and coaching and trying to ask this, that, connecting. So far it's working a little. But there's so much to learn, which is why I love like getting on calls like this because like, oh, by the way, dude, that thing that I got from you that it was like I bought your
oh,
what is it?
the beat selling guide.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad I did. So like from there, like I forget exactly like, but there was like a bunch of things in there that I was like, oh my God, that's dope. And this is dope. And that's dope. So like, I think like investing in information is huge. Like I don't mind spending money on something. Like I saw that you had a guide. I'm like, oh my God, absolutely. I'm copping it. So like, just like little things like that. Like even if it's just like one piece of the bridge, Um, I heard this cool concept from I don't know him, but he's this really cool like internet coach. His name's Arlen Moore, and he has this secondary channel where he talks about like investing in coaching, right? And like one time you'll like invest in one coach. Like for example, I bought your program and I learned a bunch of stuff. Um, and it was like a bunch of cool pieces like that I used to complete my bridge, right? And but you might invest in another coach and it might not be like all that. And then you might learn a few gems, but like it doesn't like really complete your bridge. But like you might get some gems here, 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 and eventually you're just making the bricks. And then like maybe that last one that you talk to, it's like, oh, that was the missing piece. But all this other information like was the building blocks to like your bridge, and like you finally get to the other side. So like people like invest in coaching and then like give up like quickly. So like I think that's like a huge concept I learned. Like everyone has different like great things to talk about, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a huge piece. And like even though I saw your consultation on there and I was like, oh, like I might invest in this too. So it's like it's not like it goes one way, you know.
True.
And like I think that the producer community has to get past this thing of like paying for information and stuff is a bad thing. I give away a lot of stuff for free as
You
well.
do.
So it's
You do.
like, yeah, but the reason there's a price point on something is that the more you spend on something, the more invested you're going to be. Like you're saying, people will get information and then they won't act on it. And so it's not that the information is bad or it doesn't work. It's that they're not driven to be successful, because I've seen people do the wrong thing and still be successful just because they're trying. So that's like 50% of it, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean the effort definitely has to be there. And that's a good point that you had mentioned where it comes to like investing and like the price point thing. Like it's just like okay, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I'd get bashed by a lot of producers, like by like I mean, I'm open to criticism. Whatever, tell me. I don't know, but I do these things where So I started talking about like posting beat sales and stuff, and all of a sudden I'm getting messages like left and right, like, "Yo, how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you do this?" I'm like, "Whoa, okay." Like I can. It's almost like there's a market for it. So I'm like, okay, like, look, I firmly believe that I'm a great teacher. So like I do phone calls for $99 for the hour. And like I literally will just go through your entire personalized situation and give you like I'm not even like I don't hold back is what I'm saying. Like I'll tell you straight up like, yo, this is wrong. You need to fix that. This is like totally, and this is just from what I've seen so far. Like I can only coach and teach up to achieve like to where I'm at. So if I see something like wrong in your process, I'll tell you. And then people are in the call and they're just like, "Oh my God, thank you." So like, it, I mean, I don't know. I have that service for a reason. And when people invest, like you said, it's worth it. Like you don't pay attention if it's free. I don't know why. I don't know why, but this is just truth.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure, for sure. And it's not like we got on here and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell Nicky Stix consultation or anything. But like, I feel like if you're watching this, you probably should invest the $99 in it, because, if you get $200 of sales off of it, and you're like, oh, I didn't get as much as I thought. I mean, you still recoup that. So like, and that knowledge can, fuel you for years. So, but on that course, it says how you got from 0 to 4K a month, and you mentioned you made over $4,000 in the last month. So like,
Mm.
what was because I'm sure a lot of producers would be really happy with that figure, and now you're mentioning like wanting to get to 50K a month,
Mhm.
But what was like the biggest pain point or like struggle you had in like cracking that 4K barrier?
Gotcha. This is so huge. Okay, so yeah, I mean, yes, definitely we want to shoot further than that. But to get to this point, um, I would say it's okay. So the process that I had said before, like with just talking to artists, you need to build your community big. Like you need to be talking to a lot of people. Like you need to really commit them. This is the thing. Like I've had people come to me and be like, "Yo, the DM method doesn't work." I'm like, "Okay, how many DMs did you do?" And they're like, okay." I'm like, "Yeah, that's why." So, dude, listen. When I tell you, I kid you not, I will literally sit there for 12, 13, 14 hours a day. Like it's a grind. It's a grizz. Like you got to commit. And this is like 6, 7 months into this now where I've done this. I've gathered about 2,250 emails so far um, through that process. And for me, it's numbers. That's the difference. Is like I will look at your data and be like, this is why you're not at this level. It's like you're making $250 a month is because you only have 100 people that you talk to. It's just like it's really just numbers and like really understanding that like this is like for those people who are willing to like seriously lock in. Like uh, so what got me to that point? That's one is like obviously just like hard work. Like these are like the obvious things. Like I hate watching YouTube videos and they're like, oh, like commitment and like have fire beats and like, oh my God, like I've heard that a million times. Like, so um there's like more details that get into it. So like obviously like work hard, have fire beats. Understand that uh this thing called momentum is such a real force of life. Like it is the biggest thing. I actually got it tattooed because like that's like my favorite word ever is momentum. You think I was making money like in the first like month or two, like somewhat a little bit, but like not really. So like the idea is like you have to have the resilience to just understand that like the delayed reaction of return is so long. It's so long. And like I'm still feeling uh income that I set up in like May right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like momentum, momentum. And after like years and then 2 years and 3 years, like holy, I can't even imagine. Like it's gonna be great. But I just have the ability to keep on going. And now I will say to other producers, look, if you're getting discouraged, don't like I get discouraged all the time. Like it is ups and downs. There's like 4 or 5 days will go by, I don't make a dime. And then like 1 week will happen and it's like, holy crap, I just made like 2 grand in like 3 days or something. You know what I mean? It's like so it's very in and out. The idea is to close those gaps, and the way to close those gaps is with high numbers. So like I'm getting there too, you know. So like, I'm not like the great, I'm far from it. So build momentum, have that consistency. Do not get discouraged. A lot of times we run into artists that will, be like, look, don't get discouraged by the guys who are like, yo, I don't buy beats. I just use beats for free. I just do this. I got a personal producer. Like, I don't need your beats. Your beats are whack, this, that. Like 95% of the people are not going to be interested and buy. Like that is just the truth. Like you have to be like the thick skin, you know, be okay with that. Um, so like don't get discouraged when like you go a whole day of DMing people and like no one responds with any sort of positive light. Like that is just how it goes. So like I will say like to producers, like look, just keep on keeping on. Like as cliche as that is, like high numbers as well, So
For sure. And I want to go back to you're talking about how sometimes I think you said the average was 3 months before somebody buys something, and like I just had somebody buy an exclusive from me, and they literally expressed interest in it 6 months ago or like 5 months ago. So it's like a lot of people have so much desperation, and they're like, oh my gosh, how do I like sell this beat right now today? And they send the link, and somebody like sees it, and they never follow up with that person.
mm.
Um, so like you talk about momentum and things like that. Like what is your routine like, and things like that helps you continue to be consistent and get momentum.
um I would say the biggest thing is discipline. That's like a whole other lesson, but specifically like when it comes to like beats and music, how I'm building momentum and how I continue to build momentum. Look, discipline, consistency, we know those are like two important pieces of the whole thing. Um, I would say that like in the details, follow up is very important. Um, One thing I want to get to, maybe whenever, maybe later in this interview, but in my organization is really where I think that I come up and am able to actually create a business and make money for myself as a music producer. So like my organization is incredible. If anyone says anything about liking a beat, responding to an email, like, yo, I heard this, I like this, whatever, texting me, whatever, um, I immediately go to my spreadsheet where I have I collect all the data, by the way, like manually I enter it. So it's like I'll get their email, I have their email, their Instagram, the artist name, and something about them. Be like, oh, they like these kinds of beats, they make this music, or like they're dropping new music then. Like it's very personalized. So like I'll keep like just like tabs, because when you have thousands of people, you don't remember everything. You know what I mean? So like I think that my organization is like really what is like the most important. If anyone says anything about liking a beat, I change the like the note section to interested and bold. I bold it. So then I'm like, okay, out of these 2,000 people, like most of them don't even like the beats because they make this kind of stuff or this kind of stuff. They nothing really pop for them, whatever. I just now have the people that were actually interested. So now when I follow up, I hit them back and I'm like, yo, how's it going? Like any new tracks? Like you making any new music lately? And like, I'll start to talk to them about that. And just talk about their career, like so when I'm like, all right, it's follow-up day, I, I have a whole list. I have like you mentioned 2 months ago you like this beat or whatever. So um, and then have a good conversation with them. So I would say that's like very important.
So the thing that sticks out to me most from you saying that is that for people to be very interested in you, you have to be very interested in them, and have a genuine conversation from them, not be like, hey, like somebody send you a link to their song and you're like, oh, it's fire, and you didn't even listen to it or things like that. So like doing your research on that person and knowing them in and out is what's probably going to lead to them ending up buying something, or at least know not where to, waste your time on somebody who's not interested in you.
Of course. Yeah, actually that's a there's two things there. Okay, so wait, what was the first piece you said
Like
before?
showing interest in somebody
Yes.
for them to be interested in you.
Okay, so that's huge. I listen to people's music literally like all day. Like when I'm doing this and I'm talking, like it's just a lot of it is me listening to music. And then all the people that shop with me and like invest their money into my beats and my craft, they send me all their music, like unreleased, like they trust me with it. Like texting me MP3 files with songs that aren't even on my beats. And then like go to the car, I'll play them, like I'll hear them. Like you understand why this takes a long time. And it's like I did put 12, 13 hours a day into this. It's like literally like because like you put the energy into it. So, you know, I give honest feedback all the time. I'll be like, this was all right. This was pitchy, or I would adjust this, or like these lyrics don't really flow that well, or like you're saying too much here, or like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like I'll really like people value that opinion. So I'll always like I get texts with songs from artists every single day, and these are people that are buying my beats. So um, I think it's just having your core group.
and and you like being really raw with artists and unfiltered. You said that they appreciate that feedback. Do you ever get like any negativity from that, or do you think that producers are just scared to give artists criticism because they're afraid that it's going to lead to them not making a sell?
Um, I'm one of those people that's like brutally honest, whether someone likes it or not. That's just me. That's how I am. I think that I don't appreciate when someone is just like, oh yeah, that's good. Like, yeah, keep going. And then just like, I'm like, no, dude, like give me some feedback. Like I got like tell me what it is. So like that's how I am. And like maybe people take it hard. I've never had anyone be like, yo, fuck you. I'm never shopping with you again. If anything, they're like, damn, like, yo, all my boys said this was fire. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, look, like, I think this, like, look, that you can definitely improve here, here, and here. Like, and, and at the end of the day, like people appreciate it. If anything, people might get mad like a little for like a little bit of time, but they always remember they're like, yo, he kept it a buck with me. So like that goes such a long way. Than just blowing someone out and be like, yeah, it's fire, you
For
know?
sure, for sure. And I promise I'm gonna get into all the more nerdy producer stuff too. It's not just gonna be these kind of questions, but like I have a couple more in this same avenue. So like one of them was I can't brush over working 12 to 13 hours a day. That's something that a lot of people wouldn't want to commit to for their day job or anything like that. But you said like you hated your sales job and things. Is that like motivation for you, or what do you use as fuel or motivation?
Okay, great question. Not a lot of people are willing to commit this type of time and this type of commitment to this world of music, this life of music. The only thing, like, look, I love making beats and music so much that I will do whatever ever. I don't care. I will shovel horse shit all day if it means that I get to make beats. Like, and I mean that like from the bottom of my heart. Like, I put up with all the crap in the music industry and beats and people trying to steal your beats and people not respecting your time and like everything. You know, so many scummy people in the industry, whatever. I put up with all of it and like learn to love all of it just because it allows me to be able to make beats and make music. And that's what I want to do every day. That's what I want to do till the day I die. I've decided. I have because I did a bunch of other jobs, hated everything, came back to music. I was like, this is it. This is my calling. And look, if you do not if you're not obsessed with getting behind that keyboard or the DAW and just starting with an open template and you just get excited, like if that's not you, like I'm gonna win in the long run because you're gonna get tired. You're gonna give in to the crap that goes on. So like, so that's real sauce right there. You gotta like, it has to be the creativity, the music driving force.
For sure, for sure. And
Hmm.
then the other question I had, because that's really dope. I don't want people to kind of dismiss that. Like that's great information. The other thing I was gonna ask is like, with you being an artist, like all the pain points, all the worries and concerns. Does that help you in like being able to see through that lens when it comes to addressing the concerns of artists and like selling beats?
100%. I literally was me. That I'm selling to me is like my past self. So like I get it. I understand like what the artist grind is like. Um, people have questions all the time about business stuff. I know how the licensing stuff works in and out. I can't tell you how many beats I've sold because I've literally taught people what the licenses mean. They're like, what's the difference between this exclusive or this lease, or why is this lease more than this lease? And like, dude, I can answer like this because like I was an artist at one point. I understand like what the leasing is and like what type of rights I have. It's also just like understanding like your product. Like that's an essential thing. Like like so many artists are gonna ask you like, okay, so like what's the deal with these rights or this, that. It's like if you're going to buy insurance and you're like, oh, so what's the difference between this policy and this policy? And the person's like, oh, I don't know. Are you gonna buy that insurance? No. So like you know what I'm saying? You gotta like know like your stuff and also like, yeah, I mean I know artists well. I know like I was one, so
Yeah, yeah, for
definitely.
sure, for sure. Okay, and I was gonna ask this question later, but like let's go into your pricing. You don't offer just a simple basic MP3 release. And some producers might be like, oh, he's missing out on like a few $100s a month or something. And then some people might say, it helps, your branding, and artists, viewing you as somebody of quality. So like, what do you have to say about that?
About pricing, this is another thing. Everyone prices their stuff differently. I actually don't have I haven't cracked the code with pricing. I don't know if there's like a specific formula where like, okay, this price point sells higher when you do this. I don't know. Um, I don't even have MP3 leases. Like I just have my basic lease is a $50 lease. Um, I've also been through a time where I go through like different periods of like where I do different types of promo deals. Like it's just like a store. Like sometimes I give away a bunch of free beats. Like there was one point where I was just doing just $50 unlimited leases, stems, like just across the board. I had one thing. That was it. And like during that time, like people really appreciated it. And then, like I was like, okay, I'm gonna restructure this. Like that was a great like promotion thing I did for like a month, but I changed it. And I think that like I am I haven't found like the best way to do it, but I always make sure that like whatever it is, it's like it's the idea behind adjusting your pricing is like how can I like provide value here? Like for example, my basic lease is $50, but you get 5 free beats with that. So it's like if you get one, you get 5 of them free. So like that right there is serious sauce because it turns the people who are like, yo, I don't have any money, I'm not buying any beats into yo, $50 for 6 beats, I get 5 beats free. All of a sudden, they're a customer now. So like, like offering like a lot is like very important. I think when it comes to pricing, I watched a student on YouTube. He does his leases for $30, but then the stems are 300. So like they want to come back and buy the stems and they're expensive. And I'm like, oh man, okay, like that's and he apparently, I mean, I don't know like the facts behind it, but apparently he's caking off that. So like I'm like, okay, like damn, like I might be doing this wrong. Like like I said, I don't have the sauce like in terms of pricing. That's something that I'm like really trying to figure out. I don't know. What do you think? Or like, what do you think?
So I've restructured my pricing a lot of times. I am thinking about taking away the MP3 option just because like I've seen some entrepreneurs and they're saying like the reason people aren't spending more with you is because you don't have an option for that, you know. So a lot of people, you know, they might be pricing it the way they would pay for stuff. I know I recently changed it to where like I used to have like you're saying $50 for unlimited lease for waves and then 100 for trackouts, and now I made it to where it's like, you know, those are limited, but then it's $200 for an unlimited lease, you know. So
Gotcha.
but that was a recent change. I know one guy who sells his exclusives a lot cheaper, but he just tries to get people to get to that, you know, $150 $200 price point and just sell a bunch of exclusives and make a bunch of beats. So
Mhm.
like there's so many different strategies to it. I don't think anybody's necessarily wrong. It's just like
Yeah,
what do you want out of this kind of thing?
for sure. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's a good point. Like one thing I really want to get to is having a massive catalog that people are leasing continuously. So like I've sort of leaned away from selling exclusives recently just because like I'm trying to build the catalog to get as big as it can, and like cuz dude, if we want to hit like those, like for example, $50,000 a month, like it's not going to happen from like selling exclusives through the DM method. Like that's actually factual. Like it's non-scalable. It works. Like I said, we've seen success with it. It's working. But if I want to see big dollars like that, you got to do big numbers. So it's like, do I want to sell this awesome beat that people are leasing? Like probably not. Like I even if it's like a really good price point, like I'd rather keep my catalog and like build it and build it. But if they like that beat a lot, I'll talk to the artist and be like, yo, this one, I got to keep this one. It's doing a lot of traction. However, like I can make a custom beat for you. Like let's talk about that. Like I made one. I can make something just like this. It gives you the same feeling. You know what I'm saying? So that's an option. If they're, and be like, actually, like, look, I know you like this one, but I got you on another one.
So that's a good point because I know like I've let go of some beats and I'm like, man, that one was actually doing really good. Like I probably should have left that one up there. But yeah, let's get into more like the producing stuff. I saw on Twitter you said Contact was your favorite VST plugin. So like, is
You check out
there?
my Twitter.
Yeah, bro.
I got to get on Twitter. You see, I barely tweet. I barely even tweet.
Man, Twitter. I've seen the last guy I interviewed was using Twitter really effectively. So, but I probably won't get on Twitter just because like mine's at like 100 followers. Like I'm not really using. but
Mm.
but yeah. So what is? Sorry, something just popped up on my computer.
No, you good.
But yeah, what I was gonna address is like you said, Contact was your favorite plugin. So why is that? And like, is there certain sound banks that you can put producers onto?
Yeah. Contact. It's funny. It has become my favorite because at first, like Native Instruments and Contact, like that was like all I had. And I have other plugins now, but like for months, like until like the last month or like a few weeks ago, actually, like I literally just had like my drum libraries, and then just like Contact. So I was just so limited to Contact, and like I was forced to just like extend it to as much as it possibly can. Like, so they've got a lot of cool sounds in there. I also love, it's just the best high quality live instruments that you can probably find, honestly. Like Native Instruments does a phenomenal job with Contact. Like their pianos, even like, look, their guitars, like the VST guitars, they will never compare to a live guitar. It's just how it is. I don't play guitar. I'm trying to figure out, can I make a VST guitar ever sound like I'm really playing it? I don't know. Maybe in the future. Not right now. But the banks in Contact are so high quality. The live instruments, the strings, the trumpets, like they've got a bunch of like other cool sounds. And then you like take them and edit them and use like Portal and like RC20 and like the little like, mess with them a little bit. Um, and like maybe halftime, like I love halftime, like that, and you can make some really cool stuff with them. But the keys, man, the piano's in there. I play piano, so like I love piano. um they just sound good. Contact.
Got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's something. What would you say to producers who like scam people out of all their VSTs and like get them off of like all these weird websites and stuff like that. Like, cause I used to have a cracked FL Studio. You know, you use FL Studio too.
I do.
And I
Yeah.
used to, you know, crack all these plugins and stuff. But like, what would you say to someone who's not investing in themselves?
Um, look, that's a dicey topic. I know so many people who just have cracked plugins. Um, and I mean, look, like I'm all about investing and like and I think it's like wrong to do that, but like when I first started, like my homie, I was like, yo, like how do like can you hook me up with like a setup? Just went on Team Viewer and like just did it for me. So like, look, I'm guilty. So like I have a lot of stuff that is cracked, but um shit. I mean, you know what, dude? I don't know. You see Nexus, the new Nexus? It's like 4 grand. I'm like, dude, I'm all set. Like, I'm not trying to spend 4 bands on Nexus. Like, I just, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Yeah,
like, and it's just expensive. Like, I'd rather just find some one shots or like or like get creative and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like also you don't really need like the super expensive ones. Like I actually do buy a lot of plugins. Like I have some crack stuff, but like also the rent to own option that people are doing now is phenomenal. Like my monthly bill for like plugins is probably like $120 because I have so many like just like I'm renting to own plugins. Get the Ozone suite. I love it. Oh my god, it's amazing. It changed the game for me. Um, that the ozone plugins like mastering and like imaging and all that kind of stuff, crazy, love it. um and yeah, but rent to own, like there's a like Arturia, like they have or is that how you say it? I don't even
yeah,
know.
yeah. That's Arturia.
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah,
reading my keyboard, like I'm like, did I say that right? um they have a great sound bank. I recently started using their analog, I think it's analog 5 or whatever, their
oh
lab.
yeah, I got that.
Yeah,
That's my
sick.
go-to.
Like they got a lot of cool stuff in there, like amazing stuff, like stuff that you can really, um, use, and there's plenty of sounds in there. Also like one shots are pretty cool. Like people have packs of one shots. Like you can just buy little packs of one shots and then like be creative with there. There's like little bells in there or like cool little sounds and stuff like that. Textures, I love arcade. Arcade. I know sometimes people shit on it, but like if you take the arcade sounds and you adjust them and make them your own and like place them properly in your melodies and stuff, you can put some real cool stuff. Like those are just like texture little one shots. Like I don't use that for melodies because like I don't know. I play my own melodies and stuff, but I love arcade. That's super fun. I d- the reason why I ended up using Contact so much is I never still don't have Omnisphere. Everyone's like, how do you not have Omnisphere? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
So
don't have Omnisphere either. It's
mm,
crazy. I actually had the crack version and just was so lazy. I could never figure out how to like
damn.
get that whole thing installed. Where it's like you got to mount all these things and stuff. It's crazy, um, but yeah, I still don't have Omnisphere. I feel like I'm more creative with less tools, but like because I've seen people with these crack laptops. And they have like 1,000 VSTs, and they're like, "Which one am I gonna use today?" And it's like it gives you so many options, but
Mm.
it's like kind of slows down your workflow because you're not proficient in like a couple.
Yeah, that's true. I can utilize Contact like to its best ability because I know it. But also I love options. Like I love options. So like if I had every plugin in the world, I don't think it would be a problem for me. Like I think I would actually enjoy like, okay, like let me try. Oh, I have Electra X. I have that. That's a
Yeah,
pretty cool one. There's like all weird stuff in there. So like, if you're looking for something different and weird, like Electra's pretty cool. I also have like the Triton plugin, which is like the old like Korg plugin. VST. If you're looking for like a thin sound, nothing too like big or like impactful, like Korg has a lot of like older sounding, like just like thin sounds, and sometimes it's all you really need. So I use that. Um, and also, like, if you have like, keep in mind, like, this is sound design. Like, just because the VST or like the preset isn't like nice, like, you can really adjust them. Like, all you can adjust them like however much you want. Like, even take the sound and like put a nice compressor on it. Like, thicken it up a little bit. Like, EQ it, and then like take that small little piece that you like, and then like take that sound, and then like put some effects on it, and then like mess with it and half speed it. Like, it can really get so different from what the original sound is. So like, get creative in that sense. But um, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Do you
I mean, oh,
do
go
you
ahead.
use do you use Serum?
I don't, man. I've been looking at Serum heavily lately. I'm thinking about getting it
I
because,
I
like,
I
for R
stopped.
and B.
Yeah, I've heard it's nice, but I stopped my monthly subscription because like I just like didn't even like I don't know. I don't even know how to use it. I just didn't put the time into it. Maybe because I have other ones. But
From what I've heard, it's like really for sound design geeks. Like people really want to go deep in the plugin. Because I know
yeah,
like with R&B, they're always doing this stuff that like glides and like has all this different like oscillation going on. So, and I used to do a lot of sound design, so I'm like looking for really specific sounds. So that's why I'm looking into getting it.
yeah. I love that we're getting into like the technical stuff with like talking about like the creative side of stuff because like everyone's like normally so concerned about like selling beats and stuff, but like this is where like the love is. Like I get excited talking about this kind of stuff. Like, I thought about this like concept recently, and it's like in terms of like creativity. Like one thing, the way that I approach making beats is like I never, I never just like have like my go-to method and like my plugins and sounds and like my one way of making beats. Like I never think of it as like, okay, like here's my routine method. Like look, me and you could get on, we could make 100 the baby type beats in like 2 days. Like we could do that, great. I mean, there's money in that. Like you can put them on YouTube and whatever. I mean, but like I'm in this for like the very long run. Like I want to be able to understand like, okay, if there's like a certain feeling or a certain way that this song made me feel, like how do I recreate that feeling? How do I make this song feel like that and instill that type of feeling in somebody? Or like then down to like the frequencies, like, okay, like if this like snare is sitting like here, but I want it up here and I want it to hit me this hard, like how do I get it there? Or like why is this kick not in the place where it is? Like what's wrong with this vocal? Like why I want to just be able to like move and shift audio and shape it in all ways and forms. And the way I think I'm going to be able to do that is just by like keeping an open mind in the creative process, like never just being like, okay, like here's my system, like I use this plugin, like these are my drums, like this is how I mix. Cause like you can get to your sauce and like you cap off at a level. You know what I'm saying? Like you can make fire beats, but like that's all you're gonna make.
For sure,
So
for sure. And like you're saying, like having that structure is good for like selling beats and showing up and being consistent. But like when it comes to creativity, sometimes you need to just have a looser approach to it. But like a lot of people say, you need to have a niche. Do you feel like the trap genre is your niche, or you're a versatile producer? So like,
uh,
what's your approach to that? Do you feel like you have to box yourself in?
this is see, like I don't have a niche yet. I don't. I think about this a lot. This is something that like bothers me. So I'm like, okay, like, do I just? I haven't found a sound that I'm like, okay, I just make this and like this is my go. I think that if you want to get to the top, like you need to at least have some sort of like discipline in being like, okay, I'm gonna be the best like producer that makes this type of stuff. Because like everyone like at the top, I feel like their they have their sauce and like that's just like how it is. Like like for example, like Lewis Bell is Lewis Bell.
I don't know.
He's phenomenal. He actually came out of Quincy, or I don't know if it's specifically Quincy, but he's like a Massachusetts native. Um,
Is this a producer?
yeah, producer.
Okay, gotcha.
He's done a lot of Post Malone stuff. He came up doing a lot of Mike Stud stuff. He's done work with. I mean, if you look up his catalog now, it's like insane. Like he sits on the charts, like pop wise. My point is like he's phenomenal at what he does. He's a songwriter too. I mean, that's like his main. He songwrites and producers. But like he's not making beats like Murda Beats, and they're just two completely different. Like, and they're not trying to be each other. Is what I'm saying. Like, um, it's like, and then you take like, yeah, like Scott Storch, he was a legend in like hip hop music, and like he was working with like Dr. Dre and like made all those songs and worked with 50 Cent. Like he's a hip hop producer, so like he just had his sound and like that was his thing. Um, I That's something that I do find difficult because I love making like all kinds of music and like I don't know like exactly like what like my thing is going to be. Like maybe we check back in 2 years and like you're doing this and I'm doing that and I'm like, dude, I figured it out, I found it. So um I'm expanding my palette to like all different types of stuff. So we'll see.
Got you.
Yeah.
And like I want to talk a little bit about like lifestyle, because you say you're working 12 to 13 hours a day, but like if someone goes and looks on your Instagram, it looks like you're living a pretty balanced lifestyle. So like, do you still find time to like still have those social connections and like going out and doing something different than producing?
Um, yeah, that's interesting. You say I live like a balanced lifestyle.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like have fun?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I do. Okay, so like there's like definitely times where I am not working and like I'll go and like do stuff and have fun and like I'll it's a lot of it's also like I get content like take photos here if you're doing something fun like it's Instagram like it's everyone it's funny like maybe it looks like I'm having fun, but like, dude, I really just like sit in front of my computer for like most of the time. Like, I will say that when I'm not working, I'm also working out. So like in terms of balanced lifestyle, like my diet and my exercise is like on point. Like I think that's why I'm able to sit and focus and make beats and like talk to artists and like grow my business for that amount of time is because like I feed the engine well. You know what I'm saying? So, I do work a lot, but like on occasion, I do go out and I do have fun and I do fun stuff with friends and things like that. More recently though, I've actually like pulled back on that because like I thought about like what do I really want? Like, what am I gonna look back and be like in 10 years, in 20 years? Like, what do I want? I'm not gonna look back and be like, oh my god, I'm so happy I had so much fun the last 20 years. Like, my main thing is I want to do something that I love that I think is so cool and like make money from it and be able to like make a living from it and to make it work. So like that's actually what I care about a lot. So I don't do as much like going out and like fun shit anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely makes sense to me, and that's something that I've had to communicate with a lot of people close to me recently. So yeah, like it might be a little invasive, but like what would be like some like dietary hacks that you would show to people? Because like I'm sure everybody would love to have more energy to work on the thing
It's
that
not
they want.
invasive at all. I mean, dude, I'm no health like guru and anything like that, but I'd love to answer this question. I mean, I'm all about diet. Growing up, I was always taught a good diet. Like, I it's just something that was always in my household. Like, I grew up in a house where like there was no junk food at all. I'd go to friends' houses and see like Lucky Charms in the cupboard. I'm like, you guys get to eat these? I'm like, yo, no way. And like drinking a soda was like the greatest thing in the world. I'm like, oh my god, I get to drink this Coca Cola. Holy shit. So like I think it's just like growing up, I've always like been introduced to it. But diet hacks, like um, don't eat before you go to bed. Like 2 hours before you go to bed. Like set a cap limit on that. Like um, like that's probably one of the most important because like you wake up groggy. Yeah, like I haven't woke up groggy in so long because like I'm disciplined with that. Specific foods, I eat a lot of lean meats, lots of vegetables, lettuce, like salads. Like a good meal for me is like I'll take like just like lean like 93% lean like ground beef, season it, like make like a little like burger and then just put it with like lettuce. That to me is like such a good energy. I get the meat, I get the lettuce, like red meat actually to me it gives me like the most like clarity and energy. Like that's people say stay away from red meat. I don't know, I disagree. I talk with some health experts about red meat and like how it's like actually like really good. Joe Rogan's a big advocate for that. But just also like just like the good stuff, dude. Like nothing that's crap. Like if you don't need, you can answer this question. Like most people can answer it themselves. Like if it's not like good meat, vegetables, fruits, or like or like any I don't know something that's good. Like just don't eat it. Just don't do it. Like that's really like all I have to say about that is like be disciplined. Um, my taste buds at this point have adjusted completely. Like anything tastes good to me at this point. But if you're constantly eating like overly processed foods that are designed to like spike your taste buds, like you're gonna be like, ew, this is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? So like
For sure.
take some time. And so
Well, I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, just felt attacked. But
oh
those are good tips. Like I was trying to switch over to like leaner meats and things like that recently because it's like I'm sick of trying to get to work, in the morning and just be like, oh, I feel like crap. Um, but yeah, you are based in the Boston area, so what I wanted to ask you is like, do you connect with local artists or do you reach out to that community or do you even get like a customer base coming from just being in a big city like that?
A lot of the people that I know in the music scene out here in Boston is just from my days of being an artist. I haven't really ventured out as much as I really should, um, in terms of like connecting with like the local scene. Like, and you know what? I love Boston. Like, there's a lot of cool music that comes out of here. There's some pretty big artists that are really breaking out of here now. I love the people in the city. But I don't like I'm not out like networking as much as I should. Like I've really just been focused on like my online stuff, like and like building my brand online. Which is why I'm mostly just in front of my computer all day. So like there's like a trade-off here. Like what I wanted and what I still want is to build my brand online and be able to sell beats online and make money like from my computer. The goal here is like so I have that, and then when I have that type of income, like then I'll be out more like networking in studios and things like that. But uh I feel like focus is so important to this whole game. Like if you're trying to sell beats and like make beats and like have a customer base, like that's what you should be focusing on. It can be very distracting. Opportunities come up all the time. Like I'll get people be like, "Yo, like cook up loops like this. I'm gonna send them to this," or like do this, or like I'm going to this place, or like come in and like I say no to a lot of things right now because like of what I'm committed to and like what I'm doing, it's working. And the reason why I've been able to build it quickly in like 6 months is because of like I've just focused on just this. Is that healthy? And maybe am I missing out on opportunities? Yeah. I mean, I think about that. It's definitely like sacrifice. I'm like, oh shit, I should have went there. Maybe I could, build my network and meet people. But um I would say focus on what you want, and then there's always time like to build and like move on. Like there's the concept of like like if you take like spinning plates on like a stick, right? First, like get this plate spinning, right? Get it spinning, and then like okay, like it's spinning. Now you're good. Now like let's get another one spinning over here. Like now we can like work on this. So it's like instead of like if you try to get all the plates up at once, like you're never gonna get them all spinning. It's like a cool like analogy. So I think focus is important. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense for sure.
yeah.
And like so you've been doing this for 7 months then? I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, so back in mid February this year is when I really started to actually like cook up the beats and like take them serious. I'd made a few beats before that, and I had some beats on my computer from the year before, but I was like February, like mid February this year, I was like, okay, like this is it. Like so, I started just doing it every day, and then a few months into that is when I started to really start to like build my base and like my network online. So about I don't know what is that. Tomorrow's the 15th, so like up around 7. Yeah,
Got you. And the reason I asked that is that, you've seen so much success in so little time. And then somebody, might see you and say, oh, Nicky Stix has been doing this for 7 months. I've been doing this for 7 years and I still haven't gotten these tracks. I feel like giving up or something. So, like, what is something you would say to someone to motivate them from, like, not quitting and keep, grinding and hustling?
got you. Um, yeah. So I appreciate that. Seriously, I mean the kind words. Like really, I think that I've been able to like build something pretty quickly, and that might be discouraging to others. I think it's just because like I know a little bit about the industry, and I've just decided. I mean, okay, even then, no, dude, it's focus is what it is. It's literally like focus. Like I would say, like have an analysis on like yourself on like what are you doing, like what's your day to day like are you making the sacrifices that are necessary, like those Friday and Saturday nights that you get offers to go out and do stuff and hang out, or like even just like on an hourly basis, like how disciplined are you with your time? I think for me, like what I do is I'm very careful with my time. Like for example, today, but like before this, I was just like, oh shit. I was like, no, we gotta do this interview. You know what I mean? Because like I'm thinking like, okay, like and then like I don't have other time to do this. Like this today worked perfect for this interview. So I was like, because like tomorrow, like I'm like stingy with the time, I think like be disciplined with your time. I think that's like the biggest thing. And then like also like if you've been doing it for a long time and you're getting discouraged, like analyze your actions. What type of actions are you taking? Um, really got to ask yourself, like, not in an unhealthy comparison way, but like look at someone who's like doing a lot and being like, it's really just as simple as like, okay, you're probably just not doing the actions that they're doing. Um, that's really like the difference. Like, it's like, what type of actions are you taking, and like, how disciplined are you with your time and like your skill set and things like that. And like really dig in.
For sure. And for someone who's going to listen to this and kind of try to dig into what you're saying, I think it's basically if you see someone who's more successful than you and you see the actions they're taking, then you need to adopt those actions and try them, because if what you're already engaging in and doing on a day to day isn't working, then what do you have to lose by, trying a different formula for success?
Right. But yeah, you nailed it right on the head. And that is, I'm saying this because that's actually like what I do. Like literally, like every single day, I'm trying to figure out, I'm constantly testing. I just started testing YouTube. So like, I'll get back to you in like 6 months, see how that goes. I'm testing BeatStars ads right now. Like this month, my budget for ads is about $1,500. I don't know if that's going to work. I have no idea. I'm literally just like taking that and throwing it at the window. So test, like if your stuff isn't working and it's not working, like that's actually the definition of insanity, is like if you just keep doing the same thing and like without changing, expecting the results to change. I think like that's actually, like if we look up the definition of insanity, like that's actually what it is. So it's like if you're doing the same thing, 7 years sounds like enough data. Like you keep in mind, you got to gather data. You got to like keep in mind, like, okay, like is this method working? Is this getting traction? 7 years goes by and there's zero. That's okay. Don't get discouraged. You just got to change up. You just got to make some adjustments. So you don't get comfortable. Be like, oh, well, I want this method to work. It's like, okay, well, dude, it doesn't. Like, just be real with yourself. Like, ask some questions, find some new information, try. It's like a continuous experiment. I haven't cracked the code. I don't know if I ever will, but we're on the way to, so I think just, you got to keep trying different stuff. Most people try something and they try like three different ways, like three or four different ways, and then they conclude failure. It's not the case. You got to try hundreds of different things.
For
Do you
sure.
have, yeah, do you have it in you to do that? So like, that's what I would say.
Most definitely. Yeah, it's like I think somebody asked Thomas Edison, like, why did you fail so many times before you found, the perfect light bulb? And he said, I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways it didn't work or something like that. So,
It's like the classic.
yeah,
Yeah. And look, now we're here. My room is lit, like because of that. So like, there we go. So I don't know if I have it that much in me though. I think I would probably give up at like 800. I'd be like, all right, this is like, let's
yeah,
try something else.
yeah, yeah.
But like,
But
I don't know. Yeah, no, but the concept is there. Like, you just got to keep trying. Yeah. And I mean, the next thing I also want to do is I really want to start to get into more studios. So I'm actually going to start to like do more engineering, and like build connections with artists in that way too. I'm really looking forward to that. So like, that's something I'm going to start to venture into. But
got
um,
you, got you.
yeah,
Well, we have been going a while with the interview, but I will ask you a couple more questions. So speaking of like goals, like what are some of the goals you're trying to hit in the next year or two, like kind of medium to long term?
for sure. And dude, by the way, in terms of like the time, like it's up to you really. Like I love this type of shit. I will sit here all day. I don't care. This is like my favorite thing to do. So, okay, so goals. I it's like, to me the number one thing is I want to get disgusting at making beats. Like I want to get so good, like you just can't ignore it. Like, besides like the whole revenue thing and like whatever, um, I'm trying to get so, like, that's really what it is. I'm trying to get so good that it's like undeniable. Like, holy shit, like, yo, this is just like, you're very good. Cause I think that that's one thing that you just can't ignore. Like, you can make average beats and have 10 million plays on a YouTube video beat, right? I mean, don't look, I'm not hating at all because like I said, any direction, like whatever you're doing, um, for me, I want my shine to be like, yo, this dude's disgusting at making beats. Like, and like musically, I think that's what it is. So like, I'm nowhere near my potential, and I know that, and I'm just discovering it every day. So I think that that's like the number one thing. Like until next year, like I'm really trying to get my skill set to be just like unstoppably ridiculous. And then on top of that, another thing too is I want to get to, I definitely want to get to 5 figures a month. Like that's something that I'm really like looking to get to. I've been thinking about that for a while. I'm maybe like a third of the way there, on my way, on average. So, uh, I'm trying to just like expand and grow and get like my business to that point. But yeah, you know, those are like my two things. Um, and also like engineering too. I want to get into more studios. That's like another big piece.
Got you, got you. Well, those seem like really like high goals, but it seems like you're well on your way to hitting some of those. So like definitely look forward to hearing back whenever you hit 5 figures a month and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we gotta. we're gonna keep in touch a lot. Like, I want to just like talk to you and just like if I find something, I'm like, yo, this worked for me. Like, yo, I'll shoot you a message on Instagram and be like, yo, check this out, try this or whatever. Um, because I like to discuss things like this. Like, I feel like I don't have enough people like in the producer world where I can like have like open conversations with about like methods and like, yo, this worked, this didn't work. Like, I don't know. I want to build more of that. So like that's why I love like doing this sort of stuff, you know?
For sure. And I will just say this, like me personally, I was completely lost until I got into conversations with producers who actually like knew what they were doing or at least had some idea of it, and like just bouncing ideas off of them and them, asking you questions and things like that will really help open your mind to like different avenues that you can go through instead of like hitting the same brick wall over and over again. um, I'm sure you can
Yeah.
attest to that.
Yeah. I mean, it, there's definitely, I mean, there's a lot of, yeah, yeah, I'm trying to build the community of people that we can discuss ideas with and things like that. I have had some good conversations. I appreciate, you might have heard of him, Bricks Domain. Like
Yeah.
he talks a lot about just like helping producers and stuff like that's, it's really good stuff. Um, I talk with the guy. His name is Yahor from St. Petersburg, Russia. From Anyway, well, great dude. Like just like people just like supporting and just like talking, like bouncing ideas off each other and things like that. So, um, I really appreciate anyone that's helped me to this point. I got to shout out my old like mentor, Knowledge. He's this artist from this area up here, phenomenal dude. Like him, Android Beats, like those guys are the shit. Um, also like some Boston producers and stuff that like I've linked with, and um, yeah, yeah.
Got you. Got you. Yeah, it's definitely a valuable asset for sure. So the last question I want to head out with is what are like three pieces of gear you have in your studio right now that you feel like you couldn't live without?
Oh, that's a good question. First thing I thought of that changed the game for me. I'll put it right here. These bad boys. Hold up.
Got you.
The Sennheiser HD 650s. These headphones, oh my god, amazing. Like I, the dude Yahor told me to get these. From Anyway Well. He was like, "Yeah, you got to get these." Like, and I was like, "Okay." So I ordered them, and changed the game for me. I swear to God, like you can hear so much more. Like these are honest with you. They don't do any sort of like any boosting at all. They're very flat, very even, and then like stereo wise, like it's just like they're just different. I'm telling you, like these things are awesome. I mix mostly in headphones, by the way. Um,
Got you.
another piece of equipment. I mean, I'm trying to get like creative with it because like obviously like I could say like my computer, but like my MIDI keyboard. I love my MIDI keyboard. I always play like that's how I find like cool melodies and sounds and stuff. Um, and then other than that, it's like really like not much else. Like,
I mean, you even mentioned like the ozone suite and things like that.
oh,
I
okay,
mean,
so maybe software. Yeah, okay. Ozone, definitely. I love those plugins. Like they're mastering suites, like they're incredible. And then maybe something else like plugin wise, I would say the Waves plugins. Not everyone has those, but like the compressors in there are sick. Like I love the SSL compressor, the mono one for kicks. I put it on a kick. I actually learned this from Jason Joshua, who's a phenomenal engineer. Um, like he does like this like things called like angry eyes where like the two like knobs are like facing each other, like the attack and release, and then like a specific like way that you set it up, and like obviously adjusting it to your taste and like the song itself, but just like it's there's more that he does to the kicks other than just that. But I like to use that, and like it helps my kick just like you can just hear it just comes through, so it's like really nice. So yeah, Waves plugins, Ozone, yeah, those are like my favorites.
got you. Got you. Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah,
I'm sure the headphone is a gem for some people. Like I'm thinking of upgrading as well. So, but yeah, I
definitely.
mean, but yeah, we can even talk off camera or anything after this is done. Well, I'm sure like there's been like literally so many gems. I'm still trying to process everything. Like I'm sure everybody that's gonna listen to this is gonna get so much value out of it. And thank you so much for taking the time to share.
Dude, of course. I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. And I'm so glad that we connected. And like, this is like one of my favorite things to do is just come on here and like talk about this type of stuff. I love the craft. I love the game. I love music. I love beats. So like you are an inspiration. Thank you for making your page, by the way, and doing this. Like this is just such a benefit for people. And like I just want to say I appreciate you. And I hope this interview gets more views and like, you know, adds to the traffic. So thank you so much, man. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, and appreciate you for joining.